Welcome to Real Estate Real World, where we talk to the movers, shakers, and leaders that are getting it done right now in the real estate industry and beyond. Your host, Marguerite Crispello, started this podcast simply dedicated to call people about what's really happening in this crazy roller coaster ride of real estate. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and stay up to date on the newest stuff by adding yourself to the list at www.realestaterealworld.com. Now your host, Marguerite Crispello.
Hello, everybody. This is Marguerite Crispello, and welcome to another fabulous edition of Real Estate Real World. Yes, I have this sexy voice going on. I've had a little bit of laryngitis this week, but guess what? Pros show up, don't they? So I'm here, and I'm excited to be joined today by one of my all-time favorite people in the world, one of my very, very best friends. He's the kind of guy who, when you call him, he's always honest and truthful, and he does not put up with any of my BS, meaning he says, all right, Marguerite, like, let's get to work, right? So he's somebody that I get to have pity parties with on occasion, and he doesn't let me have them for very long, but he's an extraordinary human being. So Frank Crandall is your consigliere. He gave me a big old long word. Look at that. Of real estate and co-host of the Radio Realtors Real Estate Radio Show. Frank is a native of Sacramento and attended Christian Brothers High School and Sac City College. Frank has been a team leader with both Keller Williams and RE/MAX and is also an agent owner with eXp Realty of Northern California. For Frank and his beautiful wife, Mary, also one of my favorite people, real estate is a family affair as they work as a real estate team. They also have a successful home staging business. And Frank has devoted his working life to customer service, starting out within FedEx. He's even worked as an optician, I didn't know that till today, for VSP before finding a home and a career as a real estate agent. In his spare time, Frank loves to golf and travel, and he does a charity golf tournament every year in September. So Frank, thank you. Welcome. I'm excited to have you here, Frank.
Hi, Marguerite. Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure talking to you, and you need, I'm always there for you.
You are. You've just been an extraordinary human being and a huge, important person in my life. So thank you for being here. So tell me, Frank, how is real estate going right now?
Well, the last couple months have been a little dormant for my wife and I, but in the last 10 days, business has been picking up, and we're starting to see a lot more interest with buyers, a lot more interest with sellers, and my wife's staging business is picking up, so it's headed in the right direction.
There you go, right? It's just consistency, right?
That's right.
So tell me this, what made you decide from working at, FedEx and UPS and all that, what made you decide to go into real estate?
Well, I was looking for another career because UPS and FedEx physically, they just beat you up, and you're an employee, so they use you like a car rental. But I spent, 11 years at UPS and then 4 years at FedEx, and it was just time for a change. And this is when I was 48 years old, so I never want to hear people say I'm too old to get into real estate because I started at 48. So I've been in the business now. Never too late. I've been in the business now for 20 years. Most of those 20 years have been running real estate offices, but I have been very educated, coaching and training some very powerful agents. And, every day is a new adventure. It's never the same. And I was approached by saying you would make a really good real estate agent. I took that to heart, got my license, started in Sacramento at a company called Keller Williams,
Yeah.
and it's kind of history from there, but it's been a great ride, and it ain't over.
No, you got a long ways to go. Now, it's my understanding you were a team leader at Keller Williams as well, right?
Yeah, that's right. I ran 4 to 5 offices in Southern California, one in Chula Vista, and then a couple in Orange County. But my claim to fame is when I ran a huge office in a town called Santa Clarita, right over the Grapevine.
Oh, beautiful area.
Yeah, so we grew that office from 57 agents, and when I left, it was approaching 400.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy. What would you say, or what have you seen as the biggest mistakes agents make? And then I want to flip that too to what do you see the most successful agents doing on a regular basis?
Um, I think that there is a certain hesitancy on newer agents coming in. They're afraid of making mistakes and having their ego bruised. I mean, realtors that have egos, oh my goodness, I couldn't even tell you.
Shock.
You need to take this real estate business serious and you need to treat it like a business. It's not part time. If you treat it part time, you'll get part time pay. And I just think that a lot of people are 1 foot in, 1 foot out, saying, I hope this thing works for me. If not, I've got a plan B. No, there is no plan B. There is no plan B. You need to do what it takes to be disciplined and accountable to do this business. That answer the first part of the question?
Yeah, and I love that because I remember I had this friend years ago that I sold, young guy that I sold a house to. And he used to always say, if you have a backup plan, if you have a fallback plan, you'll fall back.
That's right.
And so you gotta embrace life and your real estate career with no backup plan. I mean, I didn't have no backup plan. I had to figure it out. I was like, I'm gonna have to figure this out one way or another, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
what I see people doing today is, it's funny. You always hear the bad press saying that it's a terrible time to be in real estate, especially now with the interest rates. But you have to figure that in the local boards all across the United States, there will be 300,000 agents that will leave the business this year because it's too tough. But there also is 300,000 agents that are coming into the business because they want to get real estate. And I've always seen the people that talk a big game, and chances are they hardly do anything. And then you will find people that are very meek and mild, and they're continuously getting educated, going to class, and then boom, it clicks. You have to have a certain type of personality. You got to be an entrepreneur. You got to be a self starter. You've got to learn to make something from nothing. And a lot of us are used to having that employee mentality where people tell you what to do. It takes a different breed. I love coaching new people. I do because I have made all the mistakes. And I know, Marguerite, you've made all the mistakes. And I just want people to be successful and not do what we have done. But the people who are plugging in, getting educated, going to seminars, and I'm not talking just strictly real estate seminars, powerful mindset people, motivation, they're the ones that are really going to make it. And they try to find out as much as they can about the real estate business.
it's funny that you say that because I think that so many people think that they can just jump in and not really have to work, right? Like
Well,
not have to have a job. And they say, oh, all she did was put in a sign in the yard. How hard can that be? And thinking about some of those things. And so I'm always curious when you actually watch successful people, what I have found, and I'm sure that you found this as well, Frank, is what is most important is their daily habits. Like, what are you doing every day on a daily basis? And consistency is so important, right? Like, one of the things I have a program we launched recently called Sales Fuel. And in Sales Fuel, you have a success tracker that you have to post what you do every day. And it's the hardest thing for agents to do to keep track of what they do every day. And I always say, if I had a camera and I were to follow you around all day long, what would I see you actually doing? And what you see successful people doing versus the people who complain about successful people is the successful people are actually doing the work, right? They're making the calls, they're connecting with people, they're spending time doing a lot of this work. And that's really a big difference. I mean, would you not agree?
yeah, great. Totally. Yes. God, I sound like a valley guy. Totally. Yes.
Well, you are a
Yeah.
Valley guy. You're from Santa Clarita down there, the Valley guy, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I guess that's comes down to what are your daily habits. So I'm going to ask you that question, Frank, because I know you have a very specific routine in the morning. What is your morning routine?
Well, for those who are interested, I don't look at my phone for 30 minutes after I wake up, and I still struggle. Well, I've been doing it for about a year because looking at your phone, there's usually not something good, either a text from family about drama or something else. And I just make sure that I grab my first cup of coffee and I just thank God that I made it another day because another day gives you a chance to shine and help somebody out. I don't watch TV like I used to. I used to be a news junkie. Okay. I'm more of a financial business guy now, which I have never been before because I look to ways to diverse your money. And then you get in an accountability group. You have a couple of Zoom meetings a week to keep you pumped. One of the things about being an agent is everybody thinks that we live the life of the Shaws of Sunset. Okay. We drive the nice car, we're out looking good and everything. Actually, the most people that make it in real estate, they do the boring stuff very well. Look at contracts. Okay. Make sure their TC is up to date on all the forms that they got. The very laborious stuff you've got to be really good at. And most of the agents I see are not good at that. Only when they get in trouble and the broker has to rescue them. I think that's the biggest mistake a lot of agents make. They're really good with their clients, they're really good with connections, but not having the contract down and knowing what to do when certain things evolve, being able to pivot and shift, that's where the money is made. And you need to be more of a student of the contract. And I still study it because I don't know everything there is to know. I call Marguerite all the time for if I have a broker question and whatever. But, everybody thinks that the life of a real estate agent is glamorous and everything. It is not.
It's funny that you said that because we just had a contest on our team. And what I did is I made up a fake property last Monday. And I challenged the entire team to submit offers. And I said, I'm the listing agent. This is the property. I found a vacant property online. And I said, you are all to submit offers. So it was funny what happened because a couple of the agents called me right away. Some didn't call me at all. Some submitted their offer late because I gave them all a deadline Friday at 2. We had some who submitted late. Some got really creative in how they submitted their offers. Some had their lender call me, some didn't. Some sent it just where they sent it via DocuSign. So they didn't like for me to sign it and open it. So that was somebody who was learning. But it was really interesting to see. And the contest winner gets to go out to dinner with me. So Alicia, who's on our team, submitted her offer the highest, the quickest, and the most complete. But out of the 6 offers that were submitted, it was really interesting to see what they have learned and what they haven't learned and what they've picked up and what they haven't picked up.
Yep.
And so paying attention to those details, Alicia won because she paid the most attention to details. And that's a vital part that I think so many agents are missing. They're very lackadaisical, and I hate to use the word lazy, but I'm going to use the word lazy in putting their stuff together and preparing for the best possible outcome for their buyers or sellers for that matter, right?
Yeah. The very first 3 weeks of me being in real estate at 40, the lady didn't allow me to show any properties for 3 weeks because I had to write up offers for 3 weeks. All cash offer, VA buyer, FHA, conventional, assumable loans. I had all these scenarios, and it was the best thing that I ever did because it taught me so much. It taught me patience because I wanted to strangle her. She was like my 4th grade teacher. And to this day, she's still alive, still doing real estate. And she is an amazing person. But most people would never take the time to do that. And I thank her for that.
Well, and that's amazing. And the thing you were talking about earlier is the details. Like when you talk about money, like most agents don't pay attention to their money at all until they don't have it. And then now all of a sudden they're paying attention. Like I always tell people, go through your credit card statements, go through your stuff on a monthly basis and see what you're spending money on. Like one of my little tips even is once a year, I cancel my credit card and you get to see all the subscription stuff that you've been paying for that you weren't even realizing you were spending. And nobody pays attention to those details until they have to, right? And by the way, there's a great app called Mint. And I love that app because you can have all of your credit cards, everything, and you can actually see what you're spending every day. And you will be shocked how much money you're spending that you're not even paying attention to because, oh, it's on a credit card, or, oh, it's on a debit card, or, oh, I, paid for this, for that. So the details are vitally important, not only in your financial picture, but in how you're handling and representing your clients in real estate, right, Frank?
Yeah. Another thing too is, and I'll just take further what Marguerite said. She's the one that showed me about Mint, and I've been doing it now for, gosh, I think 2 to 3 years, and it shows you everything. But you really should do a P&L statement every month. If you do that, no matter if you do it or a bookkeeper does it, all you got to do is send that off to your CPA, and you're not scrambling at the end of the year to try to figure it out because it's very confusing and it makes you want to drink a whole bottle of wine. It really does. That's why you got to treat your business like a business. And Marguerite's been a great mentor to me to teach me the little things. For as old as I am, I'm still learning, and it keeps me young, and I love it. I would say that if anybody is starting out in real estate, the very first thing to do is you need to look at people that you respect and love, and the people that are making the money that you want to do. And you need to sit down and talk to them and go, show me what you did. A lot of people don't have the patience to do that, but you need to be mentored. Your first 2 years in real estate, it's an internship. Just get over it. You're going to be learning, doing stuff. It's not going to make sense, but you got to just suck that up, and you're going to be in an internship for the first 2 years. Once you get through that, then you can do whatever you want. And it's been very rewarding. If it wasn't for shameless plug, I'd probably punch in a clock somewhere. But XP has allowed me to be able to stay home and work when I want and do what I want. And freedom is the best thing.
Well, I agree 100%. What I'll tell you is one of the most valuable things, I learned this back in around 2000. I was referred a book called The E-Myth, The Entrepreneurial Myth, which I think is a must read for anybody in any kind of business, whether that's real estate, whatever it is. But knowing your numbers, like actually knowing your numbers, how many transactions you do, where your clients are coming from, what's your average commission, what's your average gross commission versus net commission, how much money are you spending? Those numbers don't lie to you.
Right.
And those numbers tell you what direction to go, even in lead generation. So for example, Frank, you run an ad and you get no calls from the ad. We know the problem's the ad. You run an ad and you get 25 calls from the ad, but you get no appointments. Guess what? The problem is you.
Scripts and dialogue.
That means you don't know how to convert correctly, right?
Right.
And so what I love about knowing those numbers is that it tells you exactly where the problem is. If we now know you got 25 calls and you didn't convert them, you got to work, like you said, on scripts and dialogues. You got to work on how do you convert those clients. So numbers never lie to you. They tell you what direction to go and how to do it. If you don't have enough income coming in, guess what? The problem is lead generation. Get out there and hustle, right? If you got plenty of money coming in and your expenses are too high, you're spending too much money. Again, the numbers don't lie. They tell you what direction to go.
Right.
Sorry, I'm having a heck of a time. I'm coughing a little bit here, but
I know.
That's right.
So one of the things, as I'm assuming we're kind of wrapping up here, is Marguerite, your host, has given me some great advice. I think I heard it 2 years ago, maybe longer, that I think is the best saying in life, or one of the best. And Marguerite says that you get it paid in direct proportion to how you figure stuff out. And I have to tell you something. In the last 5 weeks, I have been presented challenges where I had to figure stuff out, and I figured stuff out. You are paid in direct proportion to how you figure stuff out. So you take the responsibility and don't rely on somebody else. And that has really helped me, especially in the last 3 weeks. That your voice keeps ringing in my head. So thank you for that. And it's a great I think you should have it on your tombstone.
Well, I probably will. I'm definitely having T-shirts and mugs made with it, so I'll have to send you one when I get them made.
I
But
love that.
it's funny when I came up with that quote. I really don't know where I stole it from. I think I made it up, but I think people get so caught up how somebody is making more money than them and they're jealous, or like Gene Frederick talks a lot about, don't deny him his nickel, right? Because he worked hard for that nickel. And how it works just in general in life is your ability to figure things out dictate whether you're going to rise or fall.
That's right.
And if you choose not to figure things out, then guess what? You become a victim and you want to blame everybody else for things not working out, right? But if you figure it out, it can take you just about anywhere. And that's what I love. So thank you for bringing up that quote, Frank. That's it. It's my claim to fame.
Yep. And if you say it 3 times, it's yours.
Well, yes, it's definitely mine. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Frank. I know this was a quick down and dirty today.
No, that's great.
But we love, love, love having you here. And I know people's patience is getting shorter and shorter. So, hour and 2 hour long podcasts, we've decided are not quite so in demand anymore. But
Anything for you, my queen, for you.
I always love spending time with you, and I'm super grateful for your friendship. So thank you for joining us today. And thank you, everybody, for being on Real Estate Real World, where we get to talk to all the cool people, first of all, and talk about what's happening right now in this real estate world. Be sure to follow me on social media, on YouTube, on Facebook. And I just got that blue dot on my Facebook today. I don't even know what that means, but I got verified on Facebook. So go follow me there. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Make it a fantastic week, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for joining us today on Real Estate Real World, where we talk with masters and leaders in real estate and beyond on how we can raise the bar in our industry. Please subscribe over on iTunes. And while you're there, be sure to give us a review. Your reviews encourage us and help others find our podcast. For show notes and hot topics on what's going on right now in our real estate industry, hop on over to www.realestaterealworld.com and add your name to our email. Thanks again for listening. And go out there, be a part of the elite masterclass in raising the bar on the real estate industry.